Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Recently I received the rainbow card kit from Tailored Expressions, which is unfortunately sold out by now. But I decided that I am going to do a mini series for this amazing release of products with all rainbow sort of things. Which you will see in the upcoming days and maybe later on that I continue with this series, because these cards are really easy to make. They have a big impact, so I really love that about it. And that's why I am making these in separate videos. They will be shorter than you're used of me, but just if you have interest in seeing how I made a certain card, you can click it open and check it out. So that's the intro for the small series that I will be doing. And now onto this specific card. This one is my gray and white version of this rainbow. I use the Over the Rainbow stamp sets as well as Over the Rainbow dies. So the die gives this wonky rainbow, and then the stamp set, there are some other images inside of it that are also a bit wonky. They won't fit on each bow itself, but it's really adorable. So the cardstock that I'm using is from Fawn and it's called Narwhal. And as you can see here, I have stamped out those crosses on the biggest bow, and now I am first stamping out those dots on my gray cardstock because it won't fit on the whole arch of the rainbow. So I want it to be continuous, being on the arch as well as on my cardstock itself. As you can see, I'm using Tombow to adhere my arches, and I am also using the negative of this die to make sure that my rainbow, which is wonky, however, will have that layout that is purposely for it. So now I'm removing my negative, and then I will stamp again those dots. The ink that I'm using from Fawn is Manatie, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. And yeah, the white cardstock is just Neenah Solar White 110, as I usually use. So this is my main rainbow, and then I thought in that adorable die there is also that heart that is originally inside of the smallest arch, but I wanted it to be not centralized and a bit edgy, so I adhered it with a bit of thin foam squares on the left side of my rainbow. Using this grey cardstock Narwhal isn't really that typical, so I'm really curious about what you think of the end result. I really like that it's quite subtle this way, but still that white stands off from the grey just perfectly. So now I am stamping out my sentiments. That one is from the Over the Rainbow stamp set, and I'm going to heat emboss this one with some white embossing powder. So I'm first using my anti-static powder tool to help me, and now I'm stamping it out with Versamark clear embossing ink. I prefer stamping it out twice or 3 times or even more, just making sure that everything is stamped out perfectly. And now I'm taking my embossing powder, which is Glacier White from Nouveau, and I really love this embossing powder. I said it before, it's not really that ultra fine as you have with Ranger, but the advantage of this embossing powder is when you have some gaps in your stamping, it will still be smooth. Of course, if you are using a stamp set with a really fine script, don't use it, because then you will lose that fine script, of course. But for this one, it was perfect. I'm heating up my heat gun, and then I am bringing it to my card panel. And now truly my card is white and grey with a hint of pinkish red, which is the raspberry cardstock from Fawn. I didn't mention that before. So now to flatten out my panel as well, I am going to adhere this panel using some Big Mama foam tape from Simon Says Stamp. It's not really that I need the dimension because it's a simple card, but because of the heat embossing my panel was a bit curled up, so this is an easy way to get it straightened again without having to wait for it to flatten out. And now I am of course using my craft knife to help me get that backing off, as you guys said I should do, and it really helps. Making sure that it is aligned straight, and then if you would want it to, you could also use some glossy accents on that heart, but I really wanted to keep it simple. So this is my card design and I hope that you liked it. If you have any questions, you can always leave them down below, and I'm hoping to see you next time. Bye!